Hi guys, I'm back with another video. In this one, I'll be explaining you how to create your own data-driven tests. Why data-driven tests? Okay, so there would be many cases where you would have to perform the same test with multiple data sets. For example, you would have a login screen where you would have to test for multiple users whether they can log in or not. Check for valid credential, invalid credentials. Check for special characters are allowed in a password field or not, or in the username field and all those stuff, whether the validation works. But you would not write different tests for to test this because it would be the same screen with different inputs. So that is why we use data-driven tests. So that is like a major reason for using data-driven tests. Apart from that, creating individual tests for every particular test data is time consuming, and it will also include a lot of maintenance in the future. Okay, and data driven tests, if you are designing it using the data driven test, it will the framework will execute it seamlessly, and you don't have to do much code if you have to add anything or configure anything. Okay, so these bottom 2 points like come hand in hand. So it would be data driven test will execute those scripts with less code changes. So I'll explain you this part, how we would be doing it with less code changes. Before we begin, I'll just give you an overview of what we did on the previous video. I'll be using the same code. So if anybody has missed the previous video about quick start guide for Protractor, I would suggest that you go and watch it. If even if you don't, you can just continue watching this one. Okay, I'll link the description down below as well. Okay, so let's begin. So we'll begin with escaping this. Okay, go start Visual Studio 2017. I usually run it as administrator. You already know that. Okay, and till this time, I'll just give you a quick overview of the website that I'll be testing. Okay, so this is my test website. I'll keep it available for everyone and anyone who wants to use it, so they can keep using this one. And okay, so we'll test the website. Okay, I'll launch Google Chrome, then just go through the website. Just a quick overview, which is so this is a shopping discount. It's quite self-explanatory. um, I have 1,000 rupees product or $1,000 product, anything you call it. 10% discount, and the price after discount is 900. So my test would be doing this, entering a product price, entering the discount value, and checking whether the price after discount is correct or not. Okay, so suppose for a data driven test I want to test it for maybe just one digit. What happens? Does the value appear to be proper? Does the value work fine when I'm calling it out as 100% free, 100% discount? Okay, so I know the website does not work for negative values, but this is I've put in some invalid cases so that we know that there are failures as well. So I can say my product was 0 0.5 cents, and I'll say 0.25% discount, so it is 0.49857 sorry. So the calculation is correct, so we just need to check whether everything is displayed properly or not, whether we get the values for 7 digits, something like that. So suppose I have a product which is 100,000, and I've got 0.0001% discount. Does it come out to be this? Okay, so something like this. I've not prepared an extensive data set, but I just have only three just to show you. Okay, so now let's begin. Close this down, and this is Visual Studio. I've launched it. We'll say go new project, unit test project. I have a folder created already, so I'll go there, and data driven test. Okay, select folder. Say okay. So I'll just quickly go through this. So this is the test method. I'll be using Protractor and setting up the project again. Since if anybody does not want to watch it or have viewed the previous video, you can just skip probably 30 seconds past this. Okay, I'll just take 30 seconds. I'll not be explaining everything. So I'll just add Protractor here. Say install Protractor, and I've already got the code snippet. Okay, so copy it quickly, go to my unit test, then just change it, and I'll just rename the file data driven test cs. Changes it as well, and I'll say okay, resolve everything which is incorrect. I just have to uh, as I already mentioned in the previous video that you would have to fix the path for your Gecko driver. Please watch the previous video if you want to know more about this. But you can, I will be uploading this code on Git and providing you the link as well there in the description. So don't worry about it. Okay. So I'll just quickly run this test. Just rebuild it just to check if everything is fine. Okay. And then I'll say right click, run the test. It will launch Firefox and run the script. So as you see, the test has run 799, 10% discount, and the value is 719. So this test is hard coded currently, so it will only check for the value which is present over here. Okay, 719.1. So how do we do it as a data driven test? Okay, so first things first, we need a database. Okay, so sorry, I'll go to access. So this particular video would be based on access DB, so I'll just create a blank DB, just call it and also place it in a proper location. I would want to be it in the same folder as so that I don't miss it. Okay, and call it mdb, and I'll call it db underscore file. So path is proper. Now I have a way of renaming it. I'll just use the previous ones that I have. So the file name was this, and the data table name would be this, so that I don't have to change it. um, I'll just have to say yes, save, then test data. Okay, so this is the table name. What I'll do is I'll say, so if you have not used access, this is how it looks, and you just have to call out every column that you have over here. So ID is by default this the primary key. I'll say this is a number. Okay, and say product price. Avoid spaces in between so that does not cause problems in your scripts. I'll say number again because this is the discount, and I'll say number result. Okay, so I'll say product 799, 10% discount, 719.1 is the result that I'm looking for. I can go ahead and say 1000, say 10% discount, and say 900. So this is my test data. I'll just say save it. Okay, and then close this. So I have the test data created. Go to your solution and then also add it to your scripts. What I'll do is I'll not be using this particular test data. I have already created one, so I'll be replacing the one that I have. Let's say right. Okay, So I'll just go to the project and say right click, add existing item, say all files, and then add this. Okay, I'm asking you to add it over here because if you go over here and see this, you would be able to um, connect to the tables and as well as query them if you want. So and then just say execute, and I've already got some values over here. Already put in some values, and I'll close this. So this is just for explanation. And now the important stuff where you have to actually go and configure everything. Okay, so this is an important part. Please pay attention here. I would say so everything would go via the app config file, so you'd have to add an app config file if you don't already have it in your project. Just say add new item and search for config, application config, and then say add. Okay, in this I have a code already written down. I'll just go through the code once again. Just type it here. Okay, okay, so what I'm doing here is and I actually have to rename the path as well. Okay, source path, say copy and source. So section name is Microsoft Visual Studio Quality Tools. So I've just named it so that I can use it over here. And this is the configuration selection. Okay, so if you open up the reference, you would see this over here. I'll just Microsoft Visual Studio Test Platform Test Framework dot extension. So when you create a unit test project, it already adds it. So if you see over here, test framework and test framework extension, we need the test configuration section over here. So that is why the type and nothing else. Okay, so this one does not have any username or password set to it. So this is the connection string. If you have ever developed a web application with a database, you would know what a connection string does. This is the OLEDB, the way that you have to connect to your database, which is the access DB in this case. And this is the path of the DB file. And this is the table name over here, data table name. Okay, so I have only one table in the database, so this is one, and you can keep adding more so that you can run. So what I've done is I've added the app config file, which is over here. We'll just say rebuild the project just to see if everything is working fine till now. So now till now there is no changes. If I try to run the code, there is no change here. I'll just run the test once again. Okay, so the test runs as usual, and as I've already shown you that I had only three values there. So now there are some things that I would like to change in the code, which I have already written down over here. So I need a test context. So what I'll do is instead of copying it, I just need a property. So just say prop and triple tap. Okay, and here change the data type to test context and just say test context as the name. Okay, we need it to go through the data set that we have, and doing that we also need this data source shopping data, which is the table name. Okay, to be put before your test method, just an attribute over here, just so that the test knows that this is the data, the table that it has to go through. Okay, and now here comes the tricky part. You just have to change some code over here. So I'll just say test context, the property that we created over here, dot data row, and then square brackets equal to the column name that I need, and then to string. Since this would be sending out string, so I need this, and here we need what system.data. So if you see over here, I just got system.data got added, and if you want, we can directly add it over here. It does not matter. Okay. So here there's this confusion that which column name. So I'll just go ahead, open up the database that I have. Copy. Okay, product price, and this is the discount. So I'll just say copy paste this. Replace it with discount on product. And here is the value that I have to check for. Okay, so this is the value which is hard coded I'm checking for. I'll just say clear this. So this is string, I'll be comparing it with string. Let's delete after discount price. So now what I'll do is, just to show you how the test script would run, I'll rebuild it once again. I've put a debug point here just so that we know how the execution goes through when we have a data driven test. Okay, so for the time being, if you see, the test had run successfully, no outputs over here, just once. Okay, so now I'll say right click, debug selected test. So Firefox launched. I'll say F10, go to the URL, wait for Angular, the price. Before we jump into the product price, I'll just say test context so that we know what we are looking for. We have data row, and this is the first object that we have, the first row. 599, 10, and this is the value. So 10 being the discount, the product price, and this is the value that we want. Okay, so just close it. Let's say F10. So 599 product value. So we'll just wait before the assert. Okay, I'll say F5. 10%, 539.1. Okay, now the assert. So we'll go to the data row, check what's the value. 519.1. Okay, the value is incorrect. I'll say F10. We got a failure. Okay, I'll just say go ahead and then say the browser is closed, and then again it will get executed. Okay, I'll just remove the debug points and just say F5 this time. So the script is executing it for the second time for the second value in the second row in the database. Okay, so it will keep executing till the rows are done. So we have only 3, so it will execute it 3 times, and every time the script runs, it will execute the test initialize as well as the test cleanup. So every time the browser opens and closes. Okay, so the whole test is actually running each and every time. And the best thing about this is having it run by data driven case is that you'll see the results results differently. Okay, so all the 3 scripts failed. Okay, so we'll see the output. Okay, no, one of them only failed, 2 of them. Okay, so you can see over here the value was expected was 519.1, the actual value was 539.1, which is as per here. So we expected 519, which was the incorrect value. The actual value was this 520. Sorry, this one failed, not data row 2. Okay, so it goes by 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, don't mind the value over here. So data row 0 failed and data row 2 failed. Okay, and data row 1 and 3 were successful. So this is the test data, and this is how the script runs in a test driven framework. So this is the output, and this is how you will see over here. So suppose if I fix all these values in the database, sorry, I should not have closed it. Okay, just launch it again. I suppose my test data is screwed up. Okay, so I'll fix it this time. 539.1. and 679.15. Okay, just say save and close. Okay, and we'll run the test again. This time we'll run it and we'll see the script executing for 4 times. So I can have 100 scenarios in this case and keep executing it for probably values ranging from 0.1 to uh, as many how much your application supports. Okay, if my test data is correct and the results are correct, I would see a complete success as the value as the test result, which is what I'm expecting this time. Okay, provided that I've typed everything properly. And as always, I'll be uploading this code on Git, providing it for you guys, and you can have a look at it, copy it, use it, and this website would also be available. Okay, if you have any questions, please leave it down in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you on those and help you out. And I'll also leave some descriptions about where did I get my reading content from. So it is from the Microsoft website about data-driven tests. So I've done that. I've actually built the code using that documentation. So I'll link it down in the description below. See you in the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.